Hello, everyone.
Amen.
Isn't it wonderful when God speaks to you?
Amen.
It's a real blessing. And as you'll see, God's been speaking to me because there's a few parallels between Dad's message and my own.
All right.
Yeah, oftentimes when I'm laying in my bed and praying, God will deposit something into my spirit. And so I want to share that with you today. We're going to talk a little bit about replenishment. Replenishment, or to replenish, means to fill up. So when stock gets low, you send out the replenishment team and they take action to fill up the stock. Okay, so in the Bible, God made covenants with men, and the first two were the Adamic and the Noahic covenants. And God told Adam in Genesis 1:28 to replenish the earth or to fill up the earth. And then again, Noah in Genesis 9:1, God says the exact same thing. Replenish the earth, fill up the earth. Okay. So when God made a covenant with man, he said, I want you to go out and fill up what is lacking. So we know with Noah, the whole earth had been destroyed in the flood. So he had a very big job to do to replenish and refill the earth.
Amen.
So, it's interesting to note as well, for those of you who are into getting your diets from the Bible, that God gave a specific diet to Adam, to man, when he made that covenant. And then he gave a different diet to Noah when he made a covenant with him. So if you want to look up those scriptures, feel free to do so. And then scratch your head a little because the diet's not always the same. Okay. So just an interesting tidbit there. So when you're doing the work of the Father, sometimes you do things that are very challenging and it kind of drains your reserves and you get to a point where you become thirsty. Okay. So Samson went out and killed 1,000 men. And when he was done, in Judges 15:18, it said he was very thirsty. Okay. Jesus, when he was on the cross, he had done everything. He had preached his final sermon. He had completed everything that God had for him to do. And he said, I'm thirsty. And shortly thereafter, that was John 19:28, shortly after he said, I'm thirsty, he gave up his spirit. When you think about replenishment in your natural body, one of the things you need is water. And the reason you need water is because water is tied to your blood volume. Okay. So if your blood volume gets low because you're dehydrated, then the cells in your body cannot be replenished appropriately, and then you become fatigued and weak. Okay. So your heart is responsible for pumping blood to all aspects of the body. Okay. So interestingly enough, we've been talking a lot about the body and the head. The body is connected by blood. Blood actually is a connective tissue. Biologically, it is a connective tissue, and the blood is what supplies the energy to the entire body, you see. So that blood pumping through the heart has to have sufficient volume to carry the oxygen and the nutrients to all the cells. So when you get thirsty, you need a fill up, you need a replenishment.
Amen.
In 2 Kings 4, verses 1 through 7, Elisha, as my dad already said, told the widow to go get the pots. And all she had was a very small jar of oil, and she began to pour that oil. And so the oil multiplied into pot after pot after pot, and all her supply that was gone became replenished. Okay.
Amen.
Similarly, Jesus turned water into wine at the wedding feast in Cana of Galilee. Now, these pots were made for, that can be found in John 2, incidentally. These pots were made for purification. And so I believe that the water in there may not have been clean, but Jesus gave a direct command, fill the water pots with water. Notice he didn't say, I'm going to pray over these pots and turn them into wine. The text does not say that. He gave a command. He said, fill the water pots with water. So I believe they had to go and empty the dirty purification water. They had to get rid of the old system. And so then those water pots had to be filled with a new water, right? And that new water became the new wine. And it was much better than the old wine. You can drink the old wine, and a lot of people enjoy aged wine, and it's a fine thing. But when you get the new wine of Christ, you've got something special, okay? So Jesus was there to replenish. I mean, you have a young couple, they've been feasting. If they're going to go out and get a whole bunch of fresh wine to keep the party going, it's going to be a cost. So he saved them quite a bit of money, and he kept the party rolling. So my encouragement to you today is to fill up your cup with the wine of Jesus. Get your wine from the true vine, right? He is the vine, you are the branch. That life flowing through him is going to flow into you, okay? So my encouragement to you today is to let Jesus replenish you. Let Jesus replenish you today. It's time to fill up your cup. No more empty cups. No more drinking the dregs out of the bottom. It's time to fill up and begin to overflow on those around you. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day.